Hi guys, something a little bit different today. My grandson, who's visiting at the minute, has asked if I could make him some Harry Potter wands. So I've dug out a couple of old chopsticks. These are what I'm going to use for the base of them. If you don't have any chopsticks, you could maybe use some wooden skewers or some wire. Just to give it a bit of strength, I suppose. So I have to make two because he wants one and mummy wants one. So I've got a couple of chopsticks out. I've dug some scraps out. I'm going to make one that's a bit like a unicorn colours, so white and pearls with some interference mica. And I'm just going to use these scraps to wrap this initially, and then Dexter's is going to be like wood looking, and his mummy's, Kate's, is going to be like a unicorn horn. So just get some of your scrap clay out because it's all going to be covered. I'm probably, and unusually for me, probably going to use some paints after they've been baked, just to give them a bit of depth and things. But so far I've just dug out some scrap clay, some scrap this is just pearl and translucent mixed in a ball, and this was just some of the wood coloured souffle that I'm just going to use to help me build it up. I've found some marbles to put on. I'm just going to pop them on the end like so with the clay, just to finish the ends off. So I've got this one for the unicorn one, and I don't know which one I'm going to use for Dexter's yet, whether to use a green one or one of these browny shiny ones. You could just make a bead with some clay or something if you want to do that. I've dug a couple of mica powders out that are the interference colours. So what we're going to do is get some of this scrap conditioned and initially wrap our chopsticks. So I'll go and get this conditioned, and then we'll come back and wrap the chopsticks, and we'll get that bit baked off. So I'll see you in a min. Okay guys, I've got my scraps done. I haven't particularly blended them too well or anything, just made sure that they were reasonably conditioned. This is a really old bit of clay. I will probably just get myself a bit of clear liquid clay to help in case I need it. But we're literally just going to wrap the chopstick first, and it'll just give us a base to work off. So Dexter's in this dark is pretty easy. I'm just going to cover the whole stick with clay. Take these scraps away. And it doesn't have to be too perfect. This is just getting us a base down, so that we can build up on it for you know, adding what we want to it. So I'm just pressing this to the chopstick, trying to make sure there's no air stuck, and I'm just going to roll it around. And Dexter's can be quite knobbly, because we're going to make it like a twig, so it looks like a twig or a branch. Oh, got a little tear there. So I'm just going to press this together and just whip my way out so that I know that it's stuck down nicely, and just get that seam smoothed. Like I say, this one doesn't have to be too perfect because we're going to make it kind of knobbly anyway. I just want to get it a bit pointy at the end. If I can, just give it a little roll. Make sure it's pressed down. Oh, picked a bit of beige up there. Let's get this together. Pinch that end off. Let's get that seam. Oh, I don't know where I've picked that up from. Must have been on my blade. Just make sure it's covered. And it's reasonably rounded. So that's just going to be the base for the twig-like one. And now with this second one, in fact what I will do on this one is I just want to let me put some of these pieces together. I'll just pass this scrap back through, guys. I just want to put a piece on the end and make it a little bit thicker. So I'll just pass this scrap back through, then I can put a piece on the end. I'll do one at once, and then you can keep up with me. I won't be a sec. Okay guys, I've got some more here. That's on a 2. I've done this other piece on a 4. So what I want to do is I just want to wrap some around this end and make the start of the shape for the marble to sit in. So this will be like the handle, and if I just leave a little gap, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'll just roll this around and trim that off. So this will be part of our handle. I'll just get that moulded. Again, I'm not worried about the seam because it's going to get covered up with other bits. So that'll be our handle. And then what I want to do is get this stretched for our marble to sit in. I am going to put some other stuff on it, but I just want to make a start of this piece, just so I've got the basic shape for the marble to sit in. So I'm just going to do this. And I'm purposely not keeping this smooth, guys, because I want it to look all gnarly and funky looking. So there we go. That'll be the basis for our marble to sit in. Let me just make sure that that's pinched all the way around. There we go. And in fact, I'll leave that marble in. And I think what I'll do is I'll just put an extra piece around this edge, like a finger guard almost, if that makes sense. And this will be the first part of our baking for this one, because we are going to cover it a bit. Just let me smooth that off so it's rounded. Oh, I seem to have a bit of plastic stuck. And just smooth that sharp edge off with my finger. There. So that's the start of this one. Just a really simple shape to start off with. And we'll pop this in the oven to bake Just make sure that that's reasonably rounded. There we go. Right, so that's number 1 ready to go in the oven. I'll just pop this to one side. In fact, let me take that, because that's not the marble that should be in there, so I'm just going to take that off. Oh, I think I'll put this brownie one in. It's a bit more earthy looking. I'll just pop this marble in. And that's that one ready to go in the oven. I'll pop this to one side, and then let's just have a little clean up. Again, not that it matters really for this, but right. Oh, I've got a bit of black stuck underneath there. But for this one, I could have done with that being a bit longer, couldn't I? Let's join a bit up. I'll just cut some. I'll just straighten this edge off and add a little bit of length on. Again, this underpiece doesn't have to be too tidy. It's just the basis for what we're doing. That be long enough now? Yeah, should be fine. When I stretch it a bit, we just pick it up. Oh, that was bright, wasn't it? Let me just squish them two together. I'm just going to stretch it a little bit, just to get it long enough for the chopstick. There, that's better. I don't even need that bit now. So we're just going to wrap this one much like we did the other one. I'm just getting that to go around it nicely, trying to make sure there's no bubbles. Again, not that it matters too much for this one, guys, because it's the underpiece. I might have to add a little bit on that end. I've come a bit short. We'll just trim this. And get that edge smoothed over. I'm just going to stretch this end piece a bit to make sure it comes over the edge. There we go. Let's give that a little roll. And just stretch this piece a bit. Just I cut it a bit too short, but it'll be fine when it's stretched over. I'm just going to fold that piece over there. And just give it a little roll, just to help with them seams, which aren't too bad at all, to be fair. And again, oh, I seem to have a bit of a bubble stuck there. They don't have to be too neat, guys, because that's the sort of wand we're making. Just give that a, we've got a bubble stuck. There we go. Let's give it a little roll. And I did want this end to be quite pointy, so I'm just gonna squidge that clay so it's kind of pointy on the end. Again, we can build that up again later. Just sort this end piece out. Got a bit of a bubble again. Let's just break that and get the bubble out. Okay, that's reasonably okay for that. And again, I'm just going to go and condition these little scraps to give us a little bit of I'm just going to do it a bit shorter on this one because the way I'm going to make it, you'll see, but I'm just going to put a little, in fact there might be enough with this, thinking about it. Just want to put that little end flap on to trap the marble in, and I think this will be enough if I just trim that and trim that. Oh, there we go, that'll work perfectly. I'm just going to smooth that into that so there's not so much of a ridge like the other one. Just warming it up with my fingers so that it blends in. And we'll pop our little marble in the end. And I'm not worried about it not being totally covered. Let me just tidy that up a bit. Not worried about it being totally covered because we're going to do some other stuff, but we just needed somewhere for the marble to sit nicely, if that makes sense. So just let me shape this. There. So that's one. That's the basis for our unicorn wand, and that's the basis for our wood wand. In fact, let me just tidy this up a little bit. I'll just tidy this edge up. That side's not so bad. There we go. Right, I'm going to pop these in the oven, guys. I'll probably do about 20 minutes. And then we will come back and do the decorating part of it. See you in a minute. Hi guys. Okay, so these are the bases that are now baked. Nice and bonny. That's the wood, the one that's going to be wooden looking for Dexter, and this is the unicorn one that's going to be for my daughter-in-law. I'm going to concentrate on this one first, and I've just got some, again, this is just scrap, guys, like I showed you previously. I've just got it really warm, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, oh, if I can pick it up, I'm going to use my semi-circle extruder. Oh no, I'm not, sorry, that's for using with the unicorn one, ignore me. I'm going to take this clay that I've been softening, and I'm going to roll out a sausage to wrap around it, but I want it to look knobbly and weird, so I'm not going to roll it even. I'm just going to, in fact, let's break some off, then I'm not playing with too much. I'm going to roll it out to wrap around the the stem of the wand, and once I think I've got enough, and I can always add to it, it's not going to be an issue, but once I think I've got enough, I'm going to twist it just to get it looking like a vine or a branch, you know, make it rough looking, like a gnarly branch or a gnarly vine. Just twisting it up to get a bit of texture in it. I think you can see that now, so it doesn't look really smooth, and I'm just gonna roll it a bit thinner and thicker in parts so that it looks knobbly, like a, you know, like a twig or a branch would. Let's just get it looking gnarly. And I'm just going to start at this end here. In fact, I'll start at this end because it's a bit thinner. And I'm just going to start that off like so. And then I'm going to wrap this. Wrap this around like this. And I'm going to pinch that end off and flatten it a little. Let's get that to curl around. And don't forget, we're going to be painting this, guys, so it really doesn't matter what colours you're using. And I think I might add another small piece. Let's just get this a bit thinner. Get it twisted so it's got some bumps and lumps in it. And I'll just go between this one like so. And there we go. I'll just break that off there and smooth it in. And I'm just going to gently press it so that I know it's stuck to the wand. This clay is pretty fresh and sticky, so I don't need to do anything to it. And there's our wooden piece. And that's for the end. I'll just pop that down. Then what I want to do is, I've actually been sat on it to warm it up. I've got some Fimo leather effect here. What I want to do with this is wrap the handle. So what I'm going to do is extrude it, and I'll just get this moving. It's quite soft now, but I'm going to extrude it and wrap it around the handle so it's like a leather handle. I'll just break some off, and let's find my extruder. I'm just going to use this slit one, and it extrudes quite well, this Fimo leather. I made a bracelet with it, if you remember. Let's just wind that down. I'll just pop this sausage in, and we'll extrude a bit for our wraparound handle. And there we go. Oh, it's coming out a bit. I might not have conditioned it well enough, guys. Bear with me. Yeah, I need to condition this a bit more, guys. It's a little too rough. let's just get it really, really, really soft. Come out, sausage. It does work, but it needs to be really, really soft to do it. I'll just get it a bit more conditioned. And just playing with it in your hands gets it really soft. Oh, I've got Dexter knocking on the door.
I just need to tell you something.
I won't be a minute. He's dying.
I know what the secret is. Harry Potter one.
Did you hear him? I know what your secret is. Harry Potter wands. He knows what I'm making him. Okay, sweetheart. Go and sit with Grandad. I won't be a minute. Bless him. Oh, he's so funny. Right, let's try this again. Has it gone in? He's got the cutest accent because, of course, his dad's northern and his mum's southern. And he's got quite a cute little accent. Oh, I don't think I rolled my sausage enough. There we go. Let's try this again. Should be better now. That's better. I don't know how much I'm going to need, so I'll do it all. Let's just get this straightened out. And I'm just going to smooth those edges a little bit with my fingers, like so. Get those bits off. And then I'm going to stretch it to get that leather pattern working. Just a tiny bit. And then we're going to wrap the handle. Oh, get them bits off my hands. I could trim that other bit off in a second. And I'm just going to go around. And I hope I've got enough. I should have. To wrap the handle so it looks like it's got a leather look. Binding on it. Oh, and I'm a little tiny bit short. I'm going to just take that off, guys, and stretch it just a little bit more. Let's get rid of those bits. I'm just stretching it just to give me a bit more length. Let's try again. I'll have to infill that little piece there, but it'll be fine. There we go, that's better. And I'll wrap that piece around there to cover. Let's just cut that bit off. Oh, there we go. And that little pointy bit now just covers nicely. I'll just smudge it with my fingers a little bit. It just covers nicely where the clay was holding the gem in. And then I've just got a little bit here that I'm just going to pop a couple of little slithers in. Just rough it up a bit with my nail. And it matches. There we go. So we've now got our leather handle. And our wand part. I shall put this one side to bake. And get this mess cleaned up. There we go. This surface a wipe before I start with the white clay. Just clean the blade of my hands. Right, and now we're going to work on the... I've got all that black off, I think so. It's the only thing with the Fimo leather, the little fibres get everywhere. There we go. And now we're going to work on, I've already softened this, but I'll just play with it while I'm talking. We're going to, using that half circle, we're going to do some wraps around this unicorn style one. I just need to get this pearl clay a little bit warmer. Oh, got a bit of black. Yeah, this is just scrap pearl and a bit of translucent. It's just my light scraps really, guys, but we are going to use a bit of paint and stuff after, so as long as it's a light colour it wouldn't really matter, I don't think. That should be soft enough. Let's get this cap off. Just a little bit of black in there. Let's clean that off. Get this wound down. That's the only thing with these extruders, isn't it? It takes forever winding them. I think that'll be enough. It's just a bit of black on the inside of that rim. Okay. Let's make sure there's no black on this. Let's get some of this clay in there. I don't know how much I'm going to need, guys, so I'm just going to, I can always make a bit more. Let's get that popped in. Get my extruder on. And get this semicircle shape going. I decided to do it as a semicircle because I thought the shape would lend itself better. we go. So I've got my semicircle. I'm just going to stretch this end out so it runs a bit thinner towards the end. And I will start at this end. Let's just break that piece off. And I'm just going to wrap this similar to the twig one, but obviously we're doing it a bit neater. I think I might have left a bit of a bigger gap there, but again, we shan't worry about that. And I'm just going to snap that off there. Smooth that point. Let's pop that down. And I'm going to need to extrude some more. Oh, can't get my cap off. Let's get this popped in. I'm trying to get all of it in. There we go, it's in. There's a bit of black on that cap. Okay. Let's just get this smoothed out. A few little crumbs there. And a bit of black, but again, we won't worry about that. It's just scraps. I'm just going to stretch this end again, just to thin it out a little bit. And I'll pop that there and start running this around. Oh, come on. I think this is going to look pretty cool when it's painted up. Just make sure that that's stuck. And I'll break that there. I'm just making sure that it's all stuck down. That could be a bit tighter. Let's put you there. Oh. And there we go. I'm just going to give it a little roll to get that to stick a bit better, because that one's a little bit loose, I think. I'm just going to redo this one. There we go. Let's see if we can separate that one a little bit. And there we go. One unicorn wand. running this one a bit further round, guys, because it's sliding a bit. There we go. I didn't have it quite tight enough. Oh, and now that one's doing it as well. Let's just twist that at the end. Okay, so that's that piece. I'll sort the end out in a minute. And I'm going to use some of this thicker piece to wrap around the end of this, like so. Let's just give that a little cut. Get them two pieces together. Okay, there we go. So that piece hides our jewel. And there's our unicorn horn one. It's got bits of black, a bit of clay stuck there. I'm just going to tweak this bottom piece a little bit because it's not quite as neat as I'd like. That's better. And I could follow it with this one. There we go. Get them edges smoothed. Get that point nice. Okay, I think we're good to go. Just make sure that that's all nicely spaced. Okay guys, I'm going to pop these. I keep picking that bit of black clay up, don't I? I'm going to pop these two in the oven now. Should I put another band around that? Yeah, I think I will. I'm just going to pop another band around this part just to build that end up a little bit. It's so hard trying to film and do bits at the same time. There we go. Okay. So these are going to go in the oven, guys. Probably do about half an hour just to make sure everything's nicely baked. That one's a bit loose again. Let's make sure it's pressed down all the way around. There's just a couple of loose bits I want to make sure are okay. That end's okay. Right, there we go. I'll pop these in the oven, guys. I'll do half an hour and then we can come back and do some painting. I'll just bring the other one in to show you. So there's our wooden one and there's our unicorn one. I'll pop these in the oven. I'll see you shortly. Hi guys, they're at the oven, all nicely baked. There's the unicorn one and there's the twig one, the leather handle. I've just got them on a couple of silicone blocks so that they don't stick while I'm trying to dry them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this one first. And I've just got a few of my paints out. These are just Pebeo Studio acrylics. They're quite a heavy paint. I haven't actually used them on, or I've used a little bit on clay, but not, oh, I need some water. I just spray a bit of water here to wet my brush. I forgot to get myself a little cup. I might get one in a minute. I'm just going to wet my brush. And all I'm going to do with this black, it's quite a heavy bodied paint, is I'm just going to go around and paint everything black. Just for my base colour. Just a reasonable coat. And this is Mars Black, I believe. Yeah, Mars Black. But, you know, use what acrylic paints you generally use. I'm just making sure that it's tonally all the same colour. And I'm not overly worried about some of the beige showing through. What I'm more concerned about is just making sure that those bits are dark in the background. And I was going to just speed this up, but I thought you might like to see how I build the colour up. So I'm just making sure that there's a reasonable bit of colour all over it. And the wand's still a little bit warm, so it's actually drying quite well. I'm just making sure that those little nooks and crannies are covered really, so that it looks kind of old before I start putting any bits of colour on. It's just making sure everything's covered. And I mean, you could have done this with black clay, guys. I just wanted to use some scraps up. There we go, that's that one done. And this is almost dry now. It's a good thing with using quality paints, they're very opaque, so you don't have to, and I'm just going to put a little bit on this handle, just to take that grey down a little bit, because I'm just going to paint that piece gold, just to break up the darkness a bit. There we go, I think that one's covered. Let me just spread these out a bit. I'll just pop that on there and get a bit of white paint. And I'm just going to use a smaller brush now, because with this one I just want to cover this beige background. And I didn't wet my brush, but never mind. I just want to get this beige background coloured in really. And it doesn't matter that some's gone on to the wand itself. In fact, you know, it might just be easier, rather than faffing about, just to paint the whole thing white. water. And again, I don't want it too polished to finish, if that makes sense. I want it to look kind of old, not sparkling brand new. This twirly one's a bit of a thing to paint. Dexter's been knocking on the door again. I've just been in to see him. So, are we finished? Have you nearly finished? I know what you're making. He's had me in fits, bless him. Nearly done. Let's get that end bit painted. There we go. I think I've got that all covered. And I'll just brush a little bit over this end piece, just to give it a bit of bite, if you like, for the other paints to go on. There we go. So that's our undercoat, if you like, done. Right, let's just turn that tile round. Get a wet wipe. Clean this brush a bit. Right, I'll move back onto the brown one now, because that's dry. Just clean some of that white up, then I'm not getting fingerprints everywhere. Right, what I'm going to do with this is I've got some, what colour is this? Burnt umber. Just going to put a little bit of that down. And I've got some burnt sienna, just a lighter brown. In fact, I might use raw sienna instead. It's not as red looking. I'll just put a little bit of everything down. And I'm just going to put a tiny bit of green as well. There we go. And I'll just get a finer brush, if I can find one. I did get loads of brushes out and now I can't find where I've put them. Oh, it's hiding under there. So I've just got a bit of a finer brush. Just give it a clean. It's had that white on. There, that should be fine, I think. Maybe not. I won't be a sec, guys. I'll just go and grab a couple more brushes and get myself a cup of water. Okay, right. What I'm going to do is, can you see? Yeah, you can see my colours. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of brown on one side of my brush and a tiny bit of green on the other. I'm just going to get them blending a little bit, and I'm just going to dab down the top of the branch. Twirly bits, if you like, and so it makes like a greeny brown colour. To start with, just, oh, I seem to have got a bit of white clay or white paint there. I'll just dab a bit of paint on it, it'll be fine. So I've got some of that brown down. You probably can't see much of a difference on the camera. And then I'm just going to go into the lighter, using the same brush, just going to go back into the lighter brown and drag a bit of that through as well. It's a bit like dry brushing, I suppose. Just want to differentiate the twigs from the background, just by putting a touch of browny green colour on. Let's pick a bit more up some over that tip. There we go. And now I'm just going to go and get a bit of green again and just mix with what's already on my brush, and just put a touch of this green over as well. It's quite translucent, this green, so the brown shows through underneath. So it just looks like a vine, if you like, wrapping around the wand. Just trying to get a bit more of that green tone on. There we go. Just put a little bit around that bit. Hope you can see on the camera the difference now with the green that's gone on. And I may just go back in with a little bit of brown on the brush. and just smudge it on a few places just to make it look woody. Woody, is that even a word? And you can see now the colour's building up a little bit. You can see the difference between the background and the wood that's going over it. Just making sure that there's no blobs and that it's blended through. Let's get a little bit more going on that tip. There we go. I think that's probably quite enough now for that to stand out. Just give my brush a rinse. And I'm just gonna get a finer brush, and we're gonna put a bit of gold down. This is quite iridescent, this gold. Let's get some loaded on my brush, and I'm just going to brush some over this handle part, but I want it to look like it's worn away a bit, so I'm not putting a great deal on. I'm just dry brushing some over so it looks like it's worn. And then I'm just going to get most of it off my brush and just do a few little swipes to highlight the vine. Again, not a great deal, guys, just a tiny amount just to highlight. And give a bit of contrast between the background and the foreground. Just brush a little bit over that tip. Missed a bit there. So there we go. There's our wooden wand. I'm just going to let that dry. I am going to put some varnish over just to protect that surface. I'm just going to put a little bit more gold on that tip, just a teensy bit, just to make it stand out a little bit more. Just put a little bit more on this vine. Just want it to look like it's was gold and now it's worn off. There we go. Oh, missed a bit there, totally. There we go. Right, so there's our wooden wand. I shall pop that to one side. In fact, let's swap these over. Put the white one down. Right, now I think what I might do with this is water the gold down because it's really iridescent, this gold. I think I'll water it down a fair bit because it is also quite translucent. And I'll give the wand a little go over in gold, and then we'll this paint is so thick it's hard to mix, and then we'll go over with some mica powders, just to give it a little, yeah, we'll give it a little wash with gold. Quite slap happy with it, guys. I'm mainly concentrating in the wand bit, not the horn bit, if that makes sense, just to give it a bit of a glisten. Nearly done. Just make sure there's no big drips everywhere. And I'll just put a bit into that nook in there, just to give it a bit of depth, and a little bit under there. There we go. Just let that sit a minute while I clean up. Oh, that wasn't very clever, was it? Right, let's get these paints off. Just want a clean tile for the next bit. Okay. Right, now what we're going to do is I've got some, this is called Bindex Brilliant. It's just an acrylic medium. So it dries clear. And I'm going to put some mica powders in it, and I've got an interference green and a purpley, that's like a purple green, and that's just an interference green that I'm going to use. I'll just get a smaller brush, make sure it's wet. Let's separate those two piles. I'm sure I just had a wet wipe. Yeah. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of this interference green into one side. I think that might have been a bit too much, Kath. And a bit of the interference purple into the other side. And I'm doing it this way, guys, just because then I know it'll stick. It's got something to adhere to, hasn't it, then? It's a bit lumpy, but it'll be fine. So that's our interference green. Oh, and there's our purple. Let's pop them lids back on. Get a fine brush, and I'm just going to now follow one one roll with one colour and follow the other one with the other colour. Oh, I think I can hear Dexter coming. I've nearly finished, I won't be long. Just get 1 minute. Bless him, he's so impatient. Oh, that was bright, wasn't it? 1 minute. Let's just get this Mica on. He would knock on the door just as I'm in the middle of doing this, wouldn't he? Yeah, I thought I was following the wrong one then. Oh, Grandad to the rescue. There we go. That's one colour on. Just give my brush a little rinse. And let's pick some of this purple up. And remember which one I followed. There we go. Oh, that was a bit of a big blob. Where am I? There I am. One minute, Dexter. I'm just in the middle of something, darling. I can't get to the door.
I'll do something for you.
Okay. Do you know? Watch Dexter for 20 minutes, I said. Oh, this purple's looking pretty cool. I'm getting blobs of it in the background. I might just get a bit more gold paint and tidy that bit up in a sec. There we go. I hope you can see the interference on the camera. It looks really cool. In fact, what I might do is just get a bit of both of them and just run it down the middle to hide any of those splodges. Might as well make it all interference-y, might we? Just mixing both of the colours and going down the middles. It should look quite cool anyway. Unicorny colours, isn't it? And I'm not being very careful with brush strokes because I want it to dry with a bit of texture. I'm just mixing both up now, guys, and blobbing it in. So it's all unicorn colours. I'm going to put a little bit of water on that. It's drying out a little bit. There we go. Try and make sure I haven't missed anywhere. I know. Just one sec, guys. I am in here and I'm trying to film. I've told you both twice. Oh, do you know? Sorry, guys. Had to be done. Oh, this is going to look pretty cool. The colours look amazing. Just make sure I've got some on that point. There's our unicorn wand. All them colours look great. I'm not sure if you guys can pick it up. And I'm just going to brush some over this end piece. In fact, let me just balance it on these, then I can get to it. Now with the Bindex, I probably don't need to varnish, but I probably will, just to be on the safe side. Oh, there we go. Right, just need to let them dry, guys. I'll go and see what the monster wants, and I'll be back when these have dried off a bit. See you in a minute. Hi everybody, we're back and Dexter's here with me and we're gonna show him his special magic wands. What do you think?
Which one should be mine?
This one's yours.
Oh wow.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Can you see?
You used all of the gold.
I did use all the gold.
And this one's for
and you've got a
mine?
special gem in the end.
A gem.
Do you like it?
Yeah, but
And this one is for Mummy. Let me just show everybody. See how pretty it is. That's the unicorn one. And here's Dexter's.
That could be a good dagger because it's got a nice little pointy end.
Yeah, it has got a pointy end. And we've put some Sculpey varnish on to protect the paint.
What about this?
They're just other marbles, darling.
Did you put marbles in?
It's the marbles. Isn't that cool? They look like gems. Right, we're going to say goodbye so Dexter can play with his wands. See you all soon. Are you going to wave bye-bye under the camera? Bye.
Doo-doo.